Hello and welcome to another edition of Healthy at Home with Susan G. Komen, Florida. I'm Josh Hirsch, Director of Mission and Communications for Susan G. Komen, Florida, and today I'm joined by Dr. Iyengar from Florida Cancer Specialist. Hi, Dr. Iyengar.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, It's good to see you. How is everything in Central Florida?
Oh, we're getting through it slowly but surely.
I think that's the best attitude that we can all have. I mean, every day is different. Nothing is going to change overnight, and we need to be positive attitude. We need to be cognizant of our fellow man and woman and do what's best not only for ourselves but for everyone else out there. And we're talking about breast cancer. There's so many different levels that we need to take into consideration, especially with this, compromised immune system, this pandemic we're living in. And then you throw into, the conversation, male breast cancer. And male breast cancer, I think, is too often overlooked. We associate breast cancer with women. 1 in 8 women are going to get, diagnosed with breast cancer in a lifetime. But men, it's 1 in 833. And yes, it's not as prevalent, but there's higher mortality rates because it's being diagnosed at a later stage in life. And men aren't getting annual mammograms. So can you tell us a little bit more about these occurrences of breast cancer in men, Dr. Iyengar?
So yeah, it is, compared to women, of course, it is a lot less common to find breast cancer in men, but men have breast tissue just like anybody else. So it's important to know your body, examine yourselves. If you note anything new or different, have it checked out. There's just not a lot of awareness out there about male breast cancer, and I think therein lies the problem.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's the not knowing about it. It's we're not talking about it. So people, it almost, put it under the rug as just, all right, well, it's not something that should be relevant. And it really is. It's something that we need to care about, is that breast cancer does affect everyone. So women, they get their annual mammograms, but with men, we're not conditioned to have that sort of annual checkups. Is it harder to detect breast cancer in men?
Not necessarily. I mean, the same signs that are present in women can be present in men. Most often it's felt as a lump. So men should be aware of their bodies just as women are. If they notice anything, you get checked out. But it's not necessarily more difficult to detect. Sometimes men might ignore what they find or put it off as something else. But I think, again, being more aware, having that education is really going to help people in the future.
That's exactly what we need to be cognizant of, is how are we going to look about this for the future? And that comes back to research. We need to continue to invest these dollars into research so we can one day not have these conversations. So let's talk about treatment. Is treatment different for men? Do they get a mastectomy? I mean, what does it look like for when a male cancer patient is diagnosed?
Yeah, so males and females are treated exactly the same. The treatments are exactly the same. So all the same modalities we use in women is what we use in men. So surgery, radiation treatment if needed, chemotherapy, and even the hormonal or anti-hormonal agents. So all of the same options exist for men. There is no indication that breast cancer in a man behaves differently or acts differently than breast cancer in a woman.
So from a medical standpoint, treatment's the same, medication's the same. Obviously, each patient's cases are different, so the way you might be treating them are a little different, but a female and a male, when it comes to breast cancer, it's not any different.
Correct.
So, is there something that I, as a 40-year-old male, should start thinking about, or is it, do I need to start checking myself, or what do you recommend?
So yes, I do agree. I do think that self-awareness and self-examination is important, just like men have testicular exams to do, kind of make it as a part of that procedure. But in particular, it's still a very rare disease among men. Now, your chances do go up if you have a family history, or if there's some indication that you and your bloodline might have a higher risk for breast cancer or any form of cancer, then I might be a little more aware in those cases.
So definitely knowing your family health history is a really important thing. Susan G. Komen has a great health history tool on our website where you can go and track your family history, your own history. And it's important to know, what is your genetic makeup when you're looking at, who in my bloodline have had these sort of instances as well. So it's really important to know. So as we continue forward and research becomes more relevant, are there any new treatment options out there for men battling breast cancer?
So there's not in particular any new treatment options. I think there are always new fascinating areas of medicine that are coming about in treatment of any type of cancer, and in particular breast cancer. So the same treatments that are applying to women and the same research that's doing for women should apply for men as well.
Okay. And that makes sense. Once again, you're not treating the patient any different. It's just you're treating the disease. I would say one of the main issues around male breast cancer is the stigma associated. We don't think about it. Yes, prostate cancer, testicular cancer. Yes, these are things that we might think about. But to males, breast cancer, it's almost an unspoken thing. Do you see the stigma eventually going away?
I hope so. I do hope so. And I think these kinds of formats to help bring awareness out there, to have men not be embarrassed about certain things, is going to really help. So I think education and awareness is the key to eliminating the stigma associated with it.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, Dr. Iyengar, is there anything additional that you'd like to share today regarding male breast cancer?
I think I just can't overemphasize the fact to know your own body. I think people are going to be much more keen to seek attention for things that are new or different. And so, I never discount the importance of self-exams.
And if you need some more information about male breast cancer, you can go on to Susan G. Komen's website. We have an entire section dedicated to male breast cancer. While it is not as prevalent, and while we might not speak about it as much, it is certainly something that we need to be very much aware about. Dr. Iyengar, I really appreciate you joining us today for this conversation. This has been fabulous. We know that as I said before, more research is really going to make the difference. And thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good day.
You too.
And we are out.